Hey everybody, welcome to Hammer Bros Gaming. I am Bladesofgod, and this is our Gears Tactics Immortal Legion Achievement Guide series. This video is going to be covering Act 3, Chapter 1. That's right, we're already into the final act of the game. In the last video, we wrapped up Act 2 by taking out the Corpser boss, and in this video, we're not going to be encountering any new enemy types or new game mechanics. This mission is more of a progressing the story type mission. There are a lot of big revelations, and the storyline does progress quite a bit, but we're going to skip all the cutscenes or anything that would spoil anything, because we don't want there to be spoilers in this video. If you're not familiar with the Immortal Legion achievement, what it is it's an achievement that tasks us with completing the entirety of the game, start to finish, on the hardest difficulty setting without losing a single unit in combat. Now, while this sounds daunting, don't worry, there are a few workarounds that we can use. If we lose a unit, we can reload a checkpoint or restart a mission if we have to. It doesn't invalidate the achievement at all. But I'm going to break down the gear that I'm using, the characters that I'm using, and the strategies that I use to get through this mission like I have been all along. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop a comment, and I will do my best to respond to you. If you've been finding this series to be helpful, if you're finding this video to be helpful, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to our channel, Hammer Bros Gaming. We would greatly appreciate it. It's quick, it's easy, doesn't cost you anything, but it shows your support and it means a lot to us. Join Hammer Nation. We'd love to have you on board. But that's enough from me. Let's dive into the guide, because I guarantee you that's why you guys are here. Alright, so diving right in where our last video left off, we're going to see that we're coming over to Michaela and switching out her scope for the Legendary Precision Scope, which gives a 15% accuracy bonus and a 10% crit chance, which is definitely more favorable than the Focus passive skill. Looking at Gabe, we see he leveled up, so he's got 2 skill points available. We're definitely going to take Surge, and we're going to want to take Teamwork. Teamwork gives us the ability to, when we use it on an ally, if they kill an enemy, we both Gabe and that ally get an additional action point, so it's really good at boosting up our AP pool. So moving on to Act 3, Chapter 1, called Buried Memories, we're going to take a look at the squad we're going to bring in. We got Gabe, we got Michaela, we got Marcella, and we're going to actually add an additional support in the way of Edward Sparky Mai. He's pretty well balanced at the moment, but you're going to see what he's got on for equipment. You see that Marcella's skill tree here, we've got Demolition Expert, Free Cloak, Sprint, and a few others. You can go back and pause the video if you need to. Michaela has Precision Shot, Fast Fingers, Ultimate Shot, Run and Gun, Chain Shot, Active Reload, and Marksman. For equipment, we got the Padded Stock, the Sleek Bolt, the Precision Scope, and the Wrapped Barrel. Taking a look at her pistol, you see that we've upgraded the pistol to the upgraded Common Snub. She's got frag grenades equipped. Her helmet is currently the Onyx Retro Helm with 5% evasion and advanced optics. Her chest rig is currently the Cadet chest plate with stabilizers and plus 30 health. And her legs are the 7% evasion, double down skill. I can't remember what the name of those were. I think they might have been Onyx Greaves. Looking at Edward's setup, for his Lancer, he has the Sleek Stock for 7% crit, Expert Mag with 3% accuracy bonus, Power Barrel, Precision Scope, and we're going to actually change that to a Rare Precision Scope, so now he has 7 instead of 5% on that. He's got the upgraded Snub Pistol. We're going to give him a helmet with a UIR regulator so he can use increased grenades, and we're actually going to deck him out with a lot of grenade stuff as well. You can see that he got the UIR chest rig, and I'm checking to see if I have any additional UIR legs, which it doesn't look like I do. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to steal a set of the UIR holsters from another one of my secondary characters. So now Edward is pretty well decked out as a grenade heavy unit as well. And let's take a look at his skill tree. You can see he has Surge, High Powered Shot, Distracting Fire, Weak Point, Empower, and Command. So very similar setup to what Gabe's skill tree is looking like. Speaking of Gabe, let's take a look at his skill tree. Teamwork, Surge, High Powered Shot, Level 2, Distracting Fire, Revved Up, Chainsaw Rush, Weak Point, Chainsaw Attack Mastery, and a couple others I didn't have time to read. Taking a look at what he has here on his Lancer, nothing has changed from our last video, but go ahead and slow that down or pause the video if you need to take a peek. He's got his upgraded Snub and a standard frag grenade. He's got an Onyx Helm for 5% evasion and the Optics skill. His chest rig is the Commando Vest for 7% evasion and the Potential skill, We like the potential skill because that cools down our, has a chance to cool down our skills even quicker. And then he has the Hunter Braces, which gives him the Glory skill, so he can actually heal allies for 10% of their health when he executes an enemy. Our optional objective is to use the reload ability 5 or less times in this mission, and there are no modifiers in this mission. So as we enter into the map, you can see this is a two-part map. We've got a gate that we need to reach and open, and we're sort of at a 90-degree angle. You can see the sandbags kind of make a 90-degree L. All of the enemies, at least when I did my run, are set pretty far back. You can see that even moving up as far as we could, we barely can get the enemies to be exposed. So we're going to put Michaela on the high ground and give her the sniper advantage, if you will, where she's going to have the ability to use the increased accuracy and increased crit chance from the high ground to do some real work. You can see we have 100% hit chance on those tickers, and hitting one caused a chain detonation that took out the other. So we're going to move our other units up. Gabe is going to come up and kind of sit out. We're going to sort of hunker down right around this piece of cover. I don't exactly know what it's supposed to be in universe, but it looks like a, I don't know, fans or something with a set of stairs. So whatever the case is, that's where we're going to hunker down for our first turn. It keeps us far enough away from all of the enemies that they shouldn't be able to get a shot on us. In fact, they don't even advance up out of the fog of war. So we're going to take our time here. We're going to move up very cautiously, try to just chip away at that fog of war so we can find a few enemies at a time and not have a bunch of enemies rush us. You can see here with Marcella, we moved up far enough that I'm going to use my ghost or my cloak ability, so the enemies won't be able to attack me, but it does show where my enemies are located. And now that they're out of the fog of war, they should move, so we're going to hope that they advance on us and let them come to us and into our kind of kill box. So with that being said, we still want Michaela to have the high ground here. You can see her shot's obstructed, which is why it's such a low hit point or hit percentage chance. But we're going to overwatch with her around that corner, and then I'm going to leave my two supports, Gabe and Sparky, I can't remember what his name was, right in front of that tank-looking thing. So that should give us enough cover that nothing's going to hit us. You can see that drone decided to take a long shot and try to hit Michaela, but he missed, thankfully. And now, because of the extended cloak ability of Marcella, she's still invisible, so I'm going to run up here, put her on the high ground as well. And now she only has one action point left. I still need to break this overwatch that this disciple has put on my scouts. I'm sorry, not my scouts, my supports. So I'm going to use a frag grenade to do that. That's going to give me the ability to move up with a couple, or at least one of the units, and hopefully start taking some of these enemies off the board and thin the numbers so we can get to that door and get on to the second part of the mission. Now Michaela still has all three of her shots, and she has a 100% hit chance. So instead of going in and using the chainsaw, which the disciples release a cloud of poison on death, so it actually decreases the amount of damage you do. So we try really hard not to use our chainsaw on disciples or our retro charge on disciples, because we don't want to have to deal with that decreased damage. But thankfully, between Michaela downing him, shooting him again, and then Gabe coming up, cleaning him up with the regular Lancer fire, we're able to get that one guy off the board. Now we're going to empower Marcella again, and we're going to actually use her as sort of, I don't want to say bait, but we're going to leave her parked up in this corner and try to keep her as protected as possible, just so the enemy has to respect the fact that I have a unit there. So basically what this will do is it'll make the AI a little more leery of charging full on towards the other three units further back, and will kind of pause or stall them up where they're at, if that makes sense. So you can see that Disciple only move forward a little bit, the tickers move forward, but not in any a drastic fashion that shows that they're trying to rush the units that are set further back. Marcella's sort of acting like a blockade. But because that Disciple is right next to me, I decided to take a shot at him. Unfortunately, even with 85% hit chance, I still missed. So instead what we're going to do is we're going to set a proximity mine, and then hopefully, yep, we're going to hit the Disciple. The Disciple gets interrupted, takes the Overwatch off the board, and since he got pushed back with The shotgun blast, it triggered the proximity mine, which did additional damage to the Disciple and took one of the tickers down. So that was a nice little twofer. Now I'm going to use the Edward's grenade to take this Disciple off the board. I just got to be very careful that I don't end up in the blast radius myself, but I don't. Unfortunately, what I didn't see was that I was going to get poisoned. So right now, Edward has the poison status, which is not good. Michaela's still sitting out back on the high ground, able to take out the enemies as they advance. But we're in pretty good shape right now. We have 3 units on high ground, and the only enemies that we have left in the first half of this map are a couple of tickers. So, or at least that are visible at the moment. So you can see Edward is going to work, but it deals less damage because of that poison status. So we're going to go ahead and use Michaela. We didn't want to use a long shot round, so we just used her snub pistol to take out that damaged ticker. Again, like I had mentioned a couple of videos ago, and by now I'm sure you're aware, once you shoot at a ticker, whether you hit or miss, that ticker is going to advance on you. So you've got to be very careful about your spacing away from the tickers. So again, you see I hit that ticker, and it took damage. It was a full hit, but the ticker still decided to advance on me, which is fine because it got him close enough that the snub was going to be able to clean him up with a 100% hit chance. So all I did there, now that the little message popped up that all the enemies were taken care of, I kind of just used my camera to pan around the map a little bit, looking for any additional equipment cases in this first half of the map, just because I was going to grab them as I advanced my units, but I didn't see any, so right now we're just going to take a couple of turns and advance all of my units up as far to the door as we can. Thankfully, Edward lost the poison status effect, so there's no status effect on him currently. And we're just going to stack up all 4 of our units right by these big doors before we open them up. That way we have our full complement of firepower available to us before activating the second set of enemies. I'll take this moment to say that thankfully in this mission we're not fighting any new enemy types. There are still, I don't think we've been introduced to the Theron guards yet. They're going to be coming up very soon. But we don't have any units right now that we need to be worrying about that we haven't already dealt with. So we're going to take... Oh, and something else. You don't want to waste too many turns in front of this gate. I'd mentioned it before in another one of the main missions that when you have these missions that are sort of split in half, whether you have a bridge raise or a door to open or something like that, you don't want to hang out around the gate not doing anything for a long time, because Reavers will eventually drop off reinforcements, and it's usually a couple of boomers, and on insane difficulty 2 boomers at once are just about impossible to deal with. So don't take any more than a couple of turns to get that door open, or else you're going to have just a really bad time with those boomers. So you can see when we got the door open there, I guess we'll get back to the actual gameplay that's going on. You can see we opened up the door. We did get a checkpoint, which is nice. That means that if something happens and we lose a unit, we're going to be able to restart from the checkpoint, which is just these doors opening up. But no worries, that's not going to happen. We're going to handle this like pros. So we're going to move up. You see that I put my scout into cloak and moved her up into the box just so we can get as much of the field in view as we can. Then we're going to go to work with Michaela. We're going to use our chain shot skill because we've got quite a few enemies who are visible at the moment, and we want to take out as many of them as we can. So there we go. We took out one of the snipers. And again, with the sniper enemies, they can use that pin ability to keep you pinned down, and we really don't want that right now because we have a lot of ground to cover. So prioritizing the snipers over the grenadiers that are going to show up is definitely recommended. But again, each person has their own play style. I understand that. This is just what I like to do. It frees you up so you don't have to worry about, you know, your enemies or the enemies attacking your allies from a long ways out. You don't end up getting pinned where you're going to have to, where the game will force your hand to take out a unit before the grenadiers can close on your pinned unit. It's just, there's a lot of stuff that, a lot of benefits to taking out the snipers early on in this part of the mission. Unfortunately, we were only able to get one sniper taken off the board, but that's okay. That's one less we have to deal with. You can see the grenadiers are now coming out of the building up top. And here we go, the sniper is going to pin down, I believe it's Michaela. Yep. So that sniper just pinned my sniper, and that's okay though. We got 2 snipers pinning my sniper, and that's okay. Like I said, we've got our scout. She has her grenade because we have all of that UIR equipment on her, which really makes her grenades respawn faster. They do more damage and they have a bigger area of effect. So one grenade took out both snipers. Thankfully they stacked up right on top of each other like that. Couldn't have gotten much closer if they tried. You see, we only have 3 enemies remaining right now, and that's going to be the 3 grenadiers. And I'm still doing okay with my optional objective to not use the reload ability more than 5 times. You see that we can use it less than 4 more times, so we're still doing alright. Something to add about this is that if you have a skill like lock and load with Gabe, which causes all units to reload, or the fast fingers ability with Michaela that causes her to reload, that is not using the reload ability. So you're able to reload your guns, but not deplete your reload counter. So don't forget, that's always an option. You can always use grenades, because grenades automatically regenerate, so you don't need to worry about reloading those. And you can also use the chainsaw or the retro charge, as that doesn't count as needing to be reloaded. So those are different ways that you can take the enemies off the board without having to fire your weapon and, you know, use up your reloads. You can see we grabbed that case that was available in the middle of this sort of open area. They are all, at this point, I believe, epic cases or whatever. The purple, it's the second highest rarity behind the legendary, which are the gold cases. And you don't find those out in the field. So purple's about the best gear you can find in the field, and we want to make sure we grab those. There's one more on the map further up behind the building that we're going to get towards the end of the mission, but we'll worry about that when we get there. So you can see we've got all 3 of the grenadiers who are remaining. We used 1 grenade to sort of damage them, and they're all advancing towards these stairs, so I took the opportunity to put a proximity mine at the base of the stairs, anticipating that I just blanked on the names. So the grenadiers are going to advance down the stairway, so I'm trying to do as much damage on this lead grenadier as possible, just so I'm sure the proximity mine will take him out of commission. You can see that his health he's down to about a quarter health, so that proximity mine should be enough. We're going to try and use the fast fingers ability to reload Michaela without having to use the reload ability. We're going to do a little bit more damage just to make sure, using Marcella's snub. Then we're going to switch back to Michaela, use the fast fingers ability. 88% hit chance, we like that. So there we go. The enemy was downed. We get the double down skill, which gives us a 5% damage boost, and then we have the active reload, so reloading an empty magazine gives us a 25% damage. That's a 30% damage boost with Michaela right now. And stacking those abilities can make her into a real powerhouse when it comes to the damage she deals. So there we go, we took one of the grenadiers off the board. He slid into the proximity mine, but thankfully that doesn't count as a detonation. But here come the other grenadiers, and boom, they both get hit. So they're interrupted, they're berserked. Not great, because now I have 2 berserking grenadiers, but that ended their turn. So now we're able to run up and use our chainsaw. And we want to make sure that you're checking how much of a range you have. So you could see, because Gabe was closer, I used him to take out the furthest grenadier, and then I'm going to try and use Edward to do the exact same thing, but unfortunately he can't make it quite far enough. So I'm trying to use the built-in mechanic that if you try to go into cover right at the end of one of your moves, you're going to be able to gain a little bit of extra distance. I saw that I couldn't really do that, so since I had Chainsaw Rush, which gave Gabe an additional action point, I used that additional action point to use the it's not Inspire, I can't remember what it's called, but the skill that gives another character an action point. I used that on Edward, so he could have enough distance to chainsaw that last grenadier and take him off the map. So right now you saw that there's absolutely no enemies left on the board right now. All we have to do is make it into the warehouse and search the warehouse, and we're going to find out, you know, what's going on and kind of advance the story. After we make it up to that container and open it up, we're going to have a bunch of reinforcements drop in right there, right near the last case. So what I like to do is I like to advance and use this window right here as sort of a hold point, because it gives you a good kind of overview, or a good overwatch on where all the reinforcements come in. And it also provides you with good cover and high ground. So it's an excellent place to set up in anticipation of the reinforcements that are coming in. The reinforcements that do come in are primarily, I think it's actually all just rifle drones and wretches, but there's quite a few. I think there might be 10 or 12 wretches and maybe a handful, 4 or 5 rifle drones. So, but again, we'll get an accurate number of that after we open up that box and see the reinforcements drop in. Every once in a while, when the reinforcements do drop in, they kind of go to the right-hand side, like they'll advance to the right to try to flank us. But I find that if all of my units are stacked up in that little room by the window, then normally they won't try to circle around. If they do, it's not the end of the world. Just take them out however you can. But there we go. We opened up the box, and here come the reinforcements. We're going to get our extraction zone right there. You can see the wretches. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I counted at least 5 wretches there. So we're going to have a pretty good amount. Again, we get a checkpoint after we open up that case. So if anything goes wrong and we lose a unit, we can always reload checkpoint and start right back at this point. So that's nice. All that work isn't going to be lost now if something goes, sideways. But here come the wretches. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right there on screen. I think there's a few more off screen still. But we're going to go to work using some grenades and using some long shots. But we're going to start out, like I said, with a grenade from Marcella. And with her expanded radius, we're able to take out 4 of these wretches with a single grenade. So that's nice. That clears down quite a few of the enemies. Still doing good with reloads. We haven't used another reload ability, so we got 4 more left. Marcella is able to use her shotgun to take an additional 5th wretch off the board. So that's a good chunk of the reinforcements gone already. We've got Gabe in position. It's a long shot there with only a 12% hit chance, so there's no sense wasting the AP. Instead, we'll switch over to Michaela, use her long shot. That takes an additional wretch off the board. So there's all 6 wretches gone. Plus it activated double down, so there was 5% additional damage for that turn. Unfortunately, it doesn't carry over. But here we go. Here's 4 more, so that's a total of 10 wretches. And then 1, 2 rifle drones. I think there's a couple more rifle drones still in the fog of war, but that's okay. They're advancing right on us, so we're not going to go out to them. We're going to let them come to us. So you see the 2 rifle drones have overwatched us. Not really a big deal because their overwatch doesn't actually hit the window. It's just right in front of the window. So as long as we don't advance past this sort of wall where we're all stacked up, we don't have to worry about anything. We're going to move Gabe up. We're going to use his grenade. His grenade takes out 4 additional wretches. So I'm pretty sure that's all the wretch reinforcements gone. And that means that all we have to do is worry about these rifle drones. Michaela does some good work there. She gets a critical hit, which downs one of the rifle drones. And again, we got the double down ability active, so that gave her an additional 5% damage and active reload. So there was another reload. We got 3 left, but she has the active reload skill now, which is going to give us up to, I think it's 25% additional damage for the next 2 turns, or until we reload again. Since we don't have a grenade with Marcella right now, we're going to use the proximity mine ability to set a proximity mine where both of the rifle drones are. So if that rifle drone moves to try to revive his buddy, he's going to activate the proximity mine and kill his friend and interrupt himself. But I also noticed that Edward still had his grenade available, so instead we're going to throw a grenade onto the proximity mine, and we're just going to short circuit the entirety of that potential issue and take both the rifle drones off the board. When that grenade was thrown and the proximity mine blew up, you saw that some of the fog of war cleared further out, and we saw there was a rifle drone sitting back by the extraction zone. So I'm pretty sure he's the last enemy on the map right now. We're in really good shape. No one's taken any damage. We're still, Michaela still has the high ground right now. We're going to advance a little bit here. There's no need to really rush. There's no additional reinforcements coming in, so we're going to play it smart, use some distance work. There we go. Michaela got a critical hit headshot, so we just got the notification. All enemies are off the board. We're going to grab this last equipment case. That's 3 out of 3 on those, so we have all the cases off of this map. And now all that's left is to advance our units all the way to the extraction point, which is going to take a couple of turns. We're still a little ways out, but not a big deal. Like I said, we're not getting chased by any enemies, so we are all set. We've also used the reload ability less than 5 times for the entirety of this map, so we are all set there. We're going to get the additional bonus gear. And I don't know what I was trying to do there, but whatever the case is, we are pretty much wrapped up with this map. So we're through Act 3-1. We're going to learn a whole bunch of stuff after this, but we're going to skip the cutscenes. Like I said, we don't want to end up doing any spoilers for anybody if you haven't played through the game yet. So We're going to end up skipping the cutscene at the end. Michaela's just able to get into that ring, and that's it. We are home free. I'll open up the cases that we got both as rewards and for scavenging off of this map, show you what we got for loot, and that's going to be the end of the video. So you see we got 1 rare case as a reward, 3 epic cases that were retrieved, and we got the rare trooper helmet as a reward for completing the optional objective. And like I said, yeah, that's about all there is to say. As far as leveling up, we're going to gain quite a bit of experience here because we did a lot of killing. Marcella does get a level, so we're going to be getting her some new skill points in the next video. But yeah, we'll open up these cases. We got a reset token, which is nice. And that's going to be it. I thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. Stick around because we're going to have more of these videos coming up soon. Until then, take care, everyone. Bye-bye. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, please like and subscribe. You can also check us out on Twitch at Hammer Bros Gaming. I am Blades of God, and until next time, have a great day everyone.